So if you have been hanging around Baby O and I for any amount of time, you will know my love for the Slumberpod. If you have a child under the age of 4 or 5 and you do not know about the Slumberpod, pause this video, go look up slumberpod.com and your mind will be blown. But if you do know what a Slumberpod is already, then you know just how critical they can be to helping your little one sleep when you're not at home. So today I'm going to list out 3 reasons why you need a Slumberpod. 3 situations in which a Slumberpod will help save your little one sleep. So the first one is, the first 2 are actually going to be from personal experience. Actually, all of them are going to be from personal experience, but the first one was such a huge one for us. So about a year ago, we moved not too far away from where our first home was, but we moved about 20 minutes away. And the Slumberpod seriously saved everything. So there were a couple of nights as we were moving that things were a little bit crazy. My husband actually got appendicitis, so he had to have his appendix removed as this was all happening. So I was the only one that was in the house trying to frantically pack things up at the last minute and get it all onto the trucks and into the new house. So I had to have our 2 boys sleeping in a variety of places over those 3 days. The first night they slept in our pretty much empty house, except I had our 2 Slumberpods that were set up. They slept in their rooms, but in the Slumberpods, perfect. Not a peep out of either one of them the entire night. The second night, they needed to sleep at my in-laws' house because our house was empty, but we could not yet get into the new house. So we had to break down their cribs. There was nothing there. So they had to sleep at my in-laws. Again, they said they slept fine. Everything was great. They didn't hear a peep out of them all night. The younger one took a nap there. That went really great. We were good to go. The third night, we actually moved to my parents, both of my parents, not just my mom, my parents' house. So that was another night, different location, same thing. They slept just as easily. Then we transitioned to our new home, where guess what? Their cribs were not yet set up. We had just unloaded everything from a truck. My husband was not able to help me set up the cribs, so it was late in the afternoon. I was not about to try to put together 2 cribs by myself. So just popped up their pack and plays, threw the Slumberpods on top, and we did that for a couple of days until I could have someone come and help me put the cribs together. So all in all, if you are moving or are planning a move, a Slumberpod is a must. It is going to be so much more seamless for your child to be able to sleep in a variety of situations, in whatever stage of moving that you're in. If you have a Slumberpod and their sleep environment can stay that consistent, calm, quiet, dark that they are craving. So the first situation that you will need a Slumberpod for is if you are moving. 2, the second situation that you will need a Slumberpod for is if you are traveling. This one is basically kind of why the Slumberpod was probably invented, because it helps keep that same sleep environment for your child when they're away. So we recently went on a trip, about 6 hours. We did a little road trip. We went about 6 hours away, stayed in a hotel, and I brought the 2 Slumberpods for my older one. He's now in the cot. My younger one was still in the pack and play. Just popped them both up right next to each other. They slept great all night. So really, travel-wise, you kind of don't know what you're going to get. If you are renting an Airbnb or you're staying in a hotel, maybe even if you're staying with family, anything like that, it can be hard to replicate your sleep situation that you have at home in another place. So this way, if your child is used to sleeping in their own room without being able to see you in a very, very dark environment, this is just such an easy way. You pop it up, it replicates that as best you can away from home. So they'll feel comfortable and know how to fall asleep on their own still, and you won't have to worry about, is it going to be dark enough? Are they going to wake up early? Are they going to be able to see me? Are they going to be just too distracted to sleep? It eliminates all of those things. So if you have any travel plans coming up, definitely try to get your hands on a Slumberpod because that is going to save your sleep while you're traveling. And while you're away, you definitely want to have good sleep. That's your vacation is going to be miserable if no one is sleeping overnight. So if you know that you're going to be traveling and it's not to a place that you know that your child will have their own sleep environment that you can essentially replicate very similarly to what they have at home, then a Slumberpod is a must. The third one, this is really, I got this from another person that told me that this is how they use their Slumberpod, but we've used kind of a variation of this. So originally this was a teacher that had to go in, it's back to school time. She had to go in, but had to bring her daughter with her. So she brought her Pack and Play and Slumberpod, set it up when it was time for her child to nap. Her child napped in the Pack and Play, and she got to finish setting up her classroom. For us, we sometimes will go on day trips. My parents have a small bookstore in Rockport, Massachusetts, and sometimes the boys and I will go up there. If it's a weekend, my husband will join us, and the boys will either nap there or we've slept there overnight. So I'm able to bring the Slumberpods, pop them up. It's a very small space, but it's still enough. Like my younger one, he was essentially in what is the kitchen. But it didn't matter because the Pack and Play blocked all of that out. We were still able to sit on the couch, watch a movie. He was in essentially the kitchen, but was able to sleep very soundly for that nap. So if you have any day trips or times when your child will be sleeping away from home continuously. So sometimes if grandparents, babysitter, somebody like that will be watching your little one and they don't have a place that's like fully set up for their sleep. Maybe they have them in a Pack and Play in the living room, but it's light, it's bright, their toys are on the other side of the room, there's a lot of distractions, then that can be really hard. So just know if that's something, if your child is going to be sleeping away from home, whether it be for a day trip with you or they're just staying, like being babysat during the day and you're looking for a way to make their sleep a little bit better when they're away from home, the Slumberpod is also a must. So many reasons why I love the Slumberpod. Once you grab your own, you will know exactly why I love it so much. So if you are interested in grabbing your own, definitely sign up for the alerts because they are not always in stock. They are so popular now that it can be hard to grab one. So make sure you're signed up for the alerts to grab one. And once you do, use code BBONI for a discount. Any questions about the Slumberpod, I am more than happy to answer them, or you can pop over to their website, slumberpod.com, where they have a list of frequently asked questions and their customer service is amazing. So if it's not on there, you should easily be able to reach them. Thanks for joining me. Bye.